there's been all this talk in Washington recently about leaks and how evil leaks are. Here's David Axelrod speaking to ABC in June about the accusations that the White House has been leaking information, particularly that would put them in a good light with respect to, say, the raid that killed Osama bin Laden. Take a look.
We've come under attack because we've been tougher on leaks than any administration in recent history, and we've been criticized for that. But it's the right thing to do because of the very issue that's been raised. We want to make sure that the people we assign to these very difficult tasks are safe, or as safe as they can be.
Yeah. Now, I want to say there's an incredible double standard here, which is that it's very clear that people inside in the administration are going to reporters and telling them lots of stuff about, I mean, all the articles you see on the front page couldn't happen.
About SEAL Team 6, who goes and works with the video gaming, and they just get a slap on the wrist because they're popular.
Right.
And they don't get in real trouble. But there are definitely times when you need to leak. You go through the system. Tom Drake is one example that we talked about. He tried internally, had to finally stop real criminal activity by our government. Tom Tam is another case that we didn't talk about. Justice Department's also about the warrantless wiretaps, tries the Congress, tries internally. Nothing happens. You have to go public to stop when the government is doing something wrong. Sometimes you have to have leaks.
Well, there's no question leaks are selectively prosecuted. The critics in the last 4 years, the critics of embarrassing government policies, ironically policies that began under the Bush administration or were implemented under the Bush administration, have been prosecuted most harshly. Has anyone been prosecuted for overclassifying information? As far as I know, no.
Right.
So that's another debate that I think has to happen. In terms of Congress, though, you know, I don't know that will get people very far. From what I understand, Congress has been pressuring the Obama administration to crack down harder.
Yes,
on leaks.
right.
Not to do less.
They're actually jumping on top of each other to be more aggressive.
It's not just the administration. It's the sort of the aftermath of WikiLeaks, congressional pressure, which, as far as I know, is bipartisan.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just think that the elephant in the room here is the growth of government secrecy. I mean, that is really the issue. It's the question is, particularly when you in the age of the unending war on terror, right? What do we as citizens have access to? And there's been a massive growth of what is secret. Right. I mean, and this has been well documented in the Top Secret America series. When we talk about just a number of people that have access to classified information, at 5 million people, right? The number of people, private contractors and government employees, and all sorts of people who have access to this information, and more of information about what the government is doing, put behind the curtain of secrecy, behind the curtain of classification. And there are no mechanisms in place, as far as I can tell, with real teeth and real strength that can ever incentivize people to err on the side of openness.
Well,
you're always going to err on the side, and for reasons that are, in some cases, incredibly compelling life or death reasons, right? Like, it's not like people are necessarily nefarious. It's that if you're making a tough call on secrecy or openness, the risk of putting something out there that shouldn't be seems to you, as the person making that judgment, much larger than the risk of keeping something hidden that should be open.
But there is one, as I was referencing, it has almost never been true, but there is now one case, and it's pretty fascinating, where Bill Leonard, a former federal official, was working on the Drake case, saw that there had been what was in his mind clearly a document that should not have been classified. And he used to run for the government the Information Security Oversight Office. He's actually filed a complaint, it's the first I've ever heard of, against the federal officials who had classified something they should not have. And everything that we're seeing is they don't know how to handle this because it's never happened before.
I think there's an even larger question than secrecy, which is how much does the public actually want to know at this point?
That's maybe the deeper question. What do we know that we didn't know last week? My answer is after this.